All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, football is awesome. Coming to you on May 10th, 2022. With off-season stylings here. I'm your host, Earnest EJ Christian. Alongside, we have the entire personality of the podcast. We got, of course, Mikey B. We got Degenerate himself, Zack, and of course, student of the game, Kyle Nash. Fellas, what's up, man? Check in. It's May.
What's up?
Yes, it's May, where nothing happens that really matters to those of us who watch things on fields. And yes, that includes baseball. That's right, I'm throwing shade. Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Yeah, that's the record. Kyle's a baseball hater. So, fucking guy, dude. And you never jump on, would you? You'll never jump on, huh?
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I think Mike is by far the biggest diehard of the four baseball diehard of the four, easily. He plays it.
Shocker.
I mean, shocker.
Hey, listen.
It looks
if
like
I ever do a 24-hour sports show kind of thing like that, I will be glad to have Mike on as a guest to speak to his heart's content.
It looks like a baseball. Yeah. Anyway, we're not here to talk about baseball. We're here to talk about football. We're in May. It's still in the grassy off season, and I really wanted to really focus on one topic for the show because I saw a thing last week on the internet.
I saw a thing
that I believe was it FanDuel or DraftKings? I think it was FanDuel that released their rankings of AFC quarterbacks. Now, obviously, we've seen the.
It was FanDuel.
It was FanDuel, right? And
if I showed the logo to Zack, he would know who it was.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up. No, I'm bringing it up right now. It is FanDuel. Yes, got it right here. And obviously we've seen this what's happening in free agency with obviously this year, and we all agree the AFC on paper anyway is just stacked to the gills. And then of course look at these rankings. Got me thinking. I sent you guys text about this. And I was like, that should be a nice topic to do for an entire podcast. So we're gonna do that. So FanDuel actually released what they believe are the 15 best. Well, the 15 quarterbacks in the.
They ranked all 16, bud. You can't do math well.
I'm sorry, 16. I apologize. 16.
I can have math.
I'm sorry. I'm still in NBA mode. I apologize. Playoffs 15. Yeah, come on now.
Hey, you might as well say 15 because there's at least one that is exactly where he belongs, and I'll grant that.
Yeah. But so I said, you know what? Let's do this. Let's go ahead and let's do an episode where we rank the 16 quarterbacks in the AFC, and we'll probably do another one in a couple of weeks with the NFC. But the AFC right now is most interesting because of the way the conference looks and all that. So as we always do, we like doing rankings this podcast. Mike and I always do every season. I always crush him, of course, because he's always talking about. So
both of you are horrible.
So watch that face, buddy. Watch that face, buddy. So let's go to 16 to 1 and backwards, and we're all gonna touch on this right now, and we'll obviously defend the position. Number 16, Mikey B. Kick it off.
Mitchell Trubisky.
Well, if I may, Mike, not that pick is bad, because it's certainly not. And while it does represent an upgrade to Mason Rudolph, I don't know that he's going to be the starter. I have every reason to believe that
this is true.
That's why I have Mitchell Trubisky off of this list at number 16, because I don't think he makes it through the entire season as their starter. Plus, while Mitchell Trubisky looked okay in Chicago while being basically sabotaged by his own head coach and general manager, I don't know that I trust Mitchell Trubisky after not starting for a couple seasons. I think it's going to be growing pains. I think they're going to lean heavier on the run game with this team going into 2022. Plus, I don't think he finishes the year, so that's why I have Trubisky at 16. Let
me ask you this, though, Mike, and taking over as host for a moment from EJ, because I'm obviously much better at hosting than he ever will be. Let's assume that Kenny Pickett does get the starting job. Does that take the Steelers' starting quarterback position out of 16?
Yes.
And who do you have instead?
Davis Mills.
Boom. Okay, we have an accord. Carry on.
Okay, so you got 16 Trubisky.
No, we got to talk about this first.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. With actual quarterbacks that are guaranteed their jobs, Mr. Trubisky is better than 5 of them.
Whoa.
Just off of what he did in Chicago. I'm sorry.
Go.
And Kenny Pickett, you know why he got drafted in the first round? Because Pittsburgh didn't want to live through another Dan Marino mistake. All right. He was not a first rounder. No one had him on a draft board going into the season. He wasn't the top one until the end of the season as a college quarterback.
So
not winning that job from Trubisky. Sorry, not happening.
so in that being said, so who is your 16, number 16 then, Zach?
Jets, Jets.
That's still a good pick, though. I'll
Zach
say
Wilson.
that.
Wilson, the absolute worst quarterback in his rookie season. No.
I also got
Talk
Zach Wilson.
about bomb. That is the absolute worst pick from the rookie season of his.
I can't front on that because listen, Zach, I was right there with you. I was warning the Jets, having seen Zach Wilson personally during the Boca Raton Bowl against UCF. And sure, he lit up the scoreboard, but that's because they were down 9 starters between injury, suspended players, and then also players that were stepping out to prepare for their combines. Look, he did all this to UCF's defense, who, by the way, weren't that great in terms of yards per game anyway. And we're supposed to be impressed by that. A lot of people were. I have never endorsed the Zach Wilson pick. As much as you are.
Yeah, you hated it. I remember you saying you hated it.
I hated it. Yeah, it was terrible.
Right. I think Kenny Pickett has better potential at his spot than Zach Wilson does with the Jets, simply because there's more supporting cast.
Oh yeah.
But I'll say this:
perform better, yes, but I don't think Pickett gets the field.
So who's number 16 for you, Kyle?
For me, I could have put either or here. I'm not going to staunchly defend Trubisky. Zach, listen, I support your right to choose self-medication with green things, but it does not help your analysis here. For my money, I'm going to take Zach Wilson, though, on this technicality. Davis Mills had even less to work with and did a little something on occasion. And that is not to trash your pick, Mike, because like I said, I'm going to do one of EJ, right? I think it's 16A and 16B, right?
Oh, fuck off, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's my
I'm really not. I said I could. I won't. I'm not you. I actually have a set of cojones. Anyways, but for my money, I'd put Zach Wilson, but simply an arm's length away from the 15th spot to Davis Mills.
Yeah, I got 16 also Zach Wilson as well for the same reason you do. But yeah, there you go. 15, Michael.
Davis Mills.
Agreed. Me too. He showed something at the end of the year, by the way.
Oh no, he looked great at the end of the year. This division is going to be fairly wide open. Indianapolis changing quarterbacks again. Ryan Tannehill not wanting to mentor Malik Willis. The Jaguars being led by Sunshine from Mbop. Whatever.
And coming in at number 15 on my list is Sunshine.
Okay, so this is proof you know jack shit about football.
Wait.
He showed me nothing.
He showed you plenty. He makes all sorts of NFL
Wait.
the coach that is actively sabotaging the
Kyle,
squad.
let Zach defend his pick. Why Trevor Lawrence to 15?
Look, I watched his games.
Apparently
he would miss wide open receivers.
That's not accurate.
And it's not like he had garbage receivers. I know DJ Shark did not get a huge check, but the dude can run a route and catch a ball.
Yeah, he was just missing 12 games after 10 games after he got hurt in Cincinnati. Good try, though. He's throwing to Tavon Austin off the practice squad. But please, tell me about the vast resources he has at receiver.
How do the receivers take a step back from Gardner Minshew to Trevor Lawrence and blame it on a coach who was there for half a season?
On a coach who was
he
there
didn't even improve in the second half of the season.
Yeah, that's great.
So real quick, Kyle's taking because Kyle actually covers the Jaguars too.
I get that, and I knew it's gonna upset, but you can blame a coach for everything, but your completion percentage.
Yeah, did you see how many drops Chenault had? Or you thought you watched all these games, right? Are you aware and active that at least 2 or 3 times a game there would be drops by somebody in the receiver corps, usually Chenault. Okay. And let's not even get into
2 of the top 3 wide receivers in the league for drop passes, and he still had a higher completion percentage by 10 total points.
I'm not gonna lie to you. The chaos didn't help.
That doesn't even make any. Please tell me how that's comparable.
Well, you're talking about his completion percentage was hurt by drop passes. Well, a quarterback who had not the number 2 and the number 3 wide receiver for most
with the
dropped
better
passes,
offensive line, with
still
more
completed
support in the backfield.
67%.
I mean, listen, when you want to talk about who his top receiver is, who isn't there anymore, I don't care how many drops you have. You have more opportunities when you have a receiver core that good. Okay?
So real quick. Trevor Lawrence's stats last year.
He took 600 throws.
He played 17 games last year. He completion percentage just a hair under 60%. 12
and he
touchdowns.
wants to compare a rookie
picks.
to, what is it, a 4 or 5 year vet? I forget how long Dakota's been starting, but
Hey, what was
Well,
Mac
6 years
Jones'
now.
completion percentage? 66, 68,
better
7?
than Trevor's. We know
Yeah.
that.
Hell,
I thought
even
Yeah,
Zach
but
Wilson
when you have
completed
when
more.
you have 2 All-Pro wide receivers catching passes, it's a lot different than getting passes catched by Laviska Shenault, the ghost of DJ Chark, me, you, and fucking Kyle. I mean, at the end of the day,
give Marvin,
he
give
was
Marvin Jones
throwing
his credit.
I will say Trevor
6-yard
played
slants,
Trevor
right?
played a little
He
better at the end of
wasn't
the year.
throwing
A little
bombs
better.
every pass. He's taking little short throws, and he's completing under 60%.
I'm sorry. This is
All right.
just
Okay,
an
Kyle,
incomplete
okay.
analysis.
Okay,
but
go
to put
go
him
ahead,
at
Kyle.
14, you can say what you want and be knockful of that. 14th?
No.
You're crazy.
No, we're still
No,
at 15.
15.
15.
wide
Oh,
receivers,
even
wide
worse.
receivers for the Jacksonville Jaguars: Laviska Shenault, Jamal Agnew, Tavon Austin, Marvin
guy.
Jones, Laquan Treadwell, tight ends Dan Arnold and James O'Shaughnessy, DJ Chark, who played in 4 games, and 2 tight ends that included Luke Farrell and Chris Mahertz. I'm sorry, that's a fucking band of misfit toys if I've ever heard of one.
Is that the Bachelor? Is that the cast of Bachelor?
I mean, Jesus Christ. He would have had more completions if he threw to the 4 of us.
Okay, so read the Jets now. Read
And
the
that's not
Jets.
even-
If
that's
you
not
think it's so great.
No,
I
no,
mean,
sir.
Or
Don't
read
get to
or
move
read
the
the
goalposts
Texans.
like that.
Like, that's the thing.
My point is I'm countering you bringing an NFC quarterback that means nothing to this conversation into the fact of talking about fucking sunshine. That's the point. Dak Prescott had 2 All-Pro wide receivers. He fucking
Who
Sunshine
were
had the
number
4 of us
2
playing
and
wide.
number 3 in drop passes in the league.
Yes, but he also has the ability to take the top off of fucking teams when CeeDee Lamb is running right down the fucking
CeeDee Lamb was number 2 in the league. Cedric Wilson was number 3.
Kyle.
Those
Yes,
were the
here's
2
you the first
guys.
time. You
Okay.
don't know how to use data, buddy. I get paid
Okay.
for a living to do it. You're using it wrong. I'm sorry.
Kyle, 15. Go.
We already did 15, I thought.
No,
I mean,
not yours. Not yours yet.
yeah, it's Davis Mills over Zach Wilson. And whoever put Trubisky here, please, you need an HR policy. This drug use and analysis thing is a problem.
Ernest speaking media is working on that right now. All right, 14. 14, I got Mitchell Trubisky. And I'm only using this really mostly because it's past. Because he's a capable quarterback. And I think, look, I think he'll be a starter week 1. But beyond that, anything in the year with the pick, obviously, I will say I did defend him, the Steelers picking him up. I think Kyle and I spoke about that on the podcast. That I thought was
an
a good
upgrade
move
over Mason Rudolph. Yeah.
Right, it's upgrade. Right, obviously, we don't know where it's going to go, obviously, but for the time being, because of his past and he is capable of doing things, I'll put Trubisky at 14. Mikey, go.
I'll take the guy from the goddamn Jets.
Ken O'Brien.
Sure.
Ken O'Brien. All right, Zach, 14. Who you got?
Tua.
Now
Unless
that's a
that
good pick.
NFL can't throw over 15 yards.
Although this is gonna be the year. This is the year for Tua. This is the year. Make it or break it. You got Tua there as well, Kyle?
Yeah. Listen, for all the incorrect that he is about Sunshine, he's got Tua right in the right house. Listen, man, I told them, don't tank for Tua, get clever for Trevor, and they didn't listen. And now he's even worse than Trevor Lawrence could even hope to be after a year.
Okay,
Should have just drafted Herbert.
What was that, bud?
Should have just drafted Herbert.
Call it a
At
day.
this rate, right? But
That's
Herbert surprised everybody. I mean, listen, if you were brave enough to draft an Oregon quarterback at that point, you deserve every bit of that spoil.
Allegedly, that's who Brian Flores wanted in the first place was Herbert.
Well, hey, then again,
Just saying.
he would have deserved every bit of that spoil if he was that brave.
So I'm gonna, you guys have Tua. I'm gonna go one up. I have Tua at 13.
I'll allow it, but yeah, and again, you put Trubisky there. I'm not hating on that. I just don't think he's going to be the starter. No offense, Zach. I just don't think he's going to be started.
In week 1 or?
In week 1, yeah.
Oh,
now,
wow,
granted,
okay.
I reserve the right to change my mind once I see some things come from camp. But today, they did not draft Kenny Pickett to sit and watch. They drafted him
agreed.
at that first round pick to start.
Agreed.
San Fran drafted Trey Lance, third overall, gave up a first and a future draft just to move up and sit him. Teams do draft quarterbacks to sit them and
terrible
learn.
organization.
But it's a little different. First of all, can you compare two things that are alike for once? Listen, you'd be awful in a farmer's market. You don't know the difference between an apple and an orange, Zach. Shit. The reason why it's different here is because the reason why it's different here is they don't have a Super Bowl quarterback waiting to teach the guy. And Trubisky is the guy you're going to sit behind. Hey, at least Jimmy Garoppolo has experience being a developed quarterback, had been to a Super Bowl, had actually done some things within that offense to teach some stuff that's going on there.
Says Niners Homer. Go ahead.
What about it?
I'm just joking. I'm gonna get you fired up, man. Relax. Where we at 13? Michael.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Okay, so we're on the same vibe.
Davis Mills.
You said it really good, actually.
Tua will have more underthrows to Tyreek Hill than I think anybody else would ever in their life.
You actually impressed me. You named Tua's name clear and Giannis's name clear as well too. I'm very impressed by you, Michael. Zachary, 13.
Davis Mills.
Wow, a little higher. Okay, interesting. He showed some. Again, he showed some little box at the end of the year.
For what he had as a team, there was no team with less in the cabinet. Offense, defense.
Correct.
So for what he was able to do on a football field, he impressed me more than any other rookie quarterback outside of Mac Jones probably last year.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones, yes. Despite his air quotes limited skill set, was excellent. I agree.
Yeah.
13 for you, Kyle Effen.
While I respect the excitement that Zach has for Davis there for sure, but for me, here's going to be my controversial pick, I think. 13, Ryan Tannehill.
Wow!
I have it at 12.
Ooh.
The reason why I have Ryan Tannehill that low is because of how inessential he is to that offense. And while people are overrating, no offense, Mike, while people are overrating the I'm not going to mentor, or it's not my job to mentor people comment, I feel like it's a situation where he would even tell you himself how much his stock dropped. The dude went to seek counseling for, what had happened in the playoffs and all that stuff. To be honest, at this point, for me, a lot of these names start to kind of bundle all together here and kind of log down.
We're in the Bumble section of this list, without question.
Yeah, but for my money, considering how much support he has, or at least has had in the past, we talked about the Titans being fraudulent, and Tannehill has been pretty well hidden for the most part. I mean, you're the counterpart on the other side gets sacked 9 times and you can't finish the job. Ladies and gentlemen, what the F,
Tiger King, baby.
All right, here we go. 12. I'm gonna go Sunshine. I'm assuming I'm assuming I haven't ranked the highest of LB4. Oh no.
No.
Oh, okay. 12 for you too.
No.
Oh, you got higher than 12.
I do.
I have them low. Everyone else has Sunshine high.
Okay, I got Trevor at 12. Trevor Lawrence at 12. Michael, who you got at 12?
Ryan Tannehill.
Okay, so we're getting that bundle situation now.
Well, like Zach or like Kyle said, not a part of that offense. Lose their best receiver. It's time for Ryan Tannehill to come back to earth. It's going to be the Derrick Henry show until the wheels fall off. So I don't think we're really like if we're move this quarterback to another team and see how good they are. Like I don't think he's that. I think he's just a guy who's going to hand the ball off a lot. So
yeah. 12 for you, Zachary.
This is where I have my guy Mitch Trubisky.
Okay.
For all the hate that you give him, he got to 2 years in the playoffs with Matt Nagy at coach.
This is fact.
You crushed Matt Nagy as a terrible coach. You
Trent
crushed
Dilfer.
Matt
Oh my God.
but he managed to do shit.
So Kyle's actually the Nagy apologist. So actually, Kyle's
not a Matt Nagy apologist, a Matt Nagy bringer of fact, because he gets this team to a dang playoff appearance multiple times with a broken piece of furniture like Trubisky, but he's a bad coach. That's cute.
12 for you, Kyle.
This is the part where I would put Kenny Pickett, aka Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh wow! So you just going to this insert Pickett now? We're doing that. Okay, we are doing that.
I am. They don't have to. Listen, I admit I'm off the reservation for the moment. Like I said, once camp starts, I reserve the right to change my mind. And Zach, if you want to mock me for being wrong at that time, brother, you have at it.
Number 11 for me.
Look, I hope you're not drafting a new quarterback next year. I really do, but I don't see it happening.
I don't blame you.
Number 11 for me. Mac Jones. He kind of faded late in the year. Moved a little higher if he had sustained, but late in the year he faded a little bit.
Did he fade or did the schedule get harder?
Well, a little bit both. A little bit both. I mean, we can argue both, yeah. But he faded. So Mac Jones 11 for me. Michael, you got him 11.
KC in the Sunshine Band.
Oh, you're a little higher than me. Okay.
I got Mac Jones.
You got Mac Jones to 11? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now if I'm not mistaken, they did drive a quarterback too. Also, the Patriots.
Oh, it was super late though.
So it was really late.
Yeah,
Okay.
kind of like they did with Jimmy Garoppolo, whenever
Right.
Tom Brady was in the middle of just shoving it down people's throats. But whatever.
Right.
The guy's in the sixth round.
So like I've heard people say, "Oh, could it possibly be Belichick wants to see if he has more options on the table?" I don't know. I think Mac's okay. I think Mac will be okay. Kyle, number 11 for you.
I have two quarterbacks that I put right together here. I'm going to pick this one now and the other one above him.
So 10A, 10B.
No. Because he's with a new team, I'm going to put Matt Ryan here.
Okay.
I don't know what exactly he has to work with for weapons for the most part. For all we know, the whole situation with T.Y. Hilton could see us getting him back. There's a young receiver and tight end here and there that are picked up. They're still trying to solve for Anthony Costanzo, which they haven't yet. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. In fairness to the Colts, they did almost beat the Bills in a playoff game a couple of years back with Philip Old Man Rivers. So that gives me a little faith. But for now, until I see more about how he gels into this offense, I got Matt Ryan.
All right. Number 10. This is kind of a holding pattern pick here, and because he's solid, but of course, after last year, he can fall even further by the time this is all said and done. Ryan Tannehill, number 10.
Good pick, Ernest. Good.
I mean, it's okay. You're not great. You're not horrible. You're in the middle of the pack pretty much, and you're probably going to fall in the year. I don't know what's going to happen.
You're really good at taking 3-step drops and turning around and handing it to a fucking all-pro running back. Yeah,
hey, part of the job, man.
Hall of Famer.
Look, he
Correct.
gets knocked on this list this year because he just lost AJ Brown.
Agreed. And
It'd be a different story.
Well, put it this way, last year he was
he would still be where he was for me, whether he had AJ Brown.
Well, put
He
it
would
this
have
way,
been ahead of Matt Ryan.
well, last year if we did this podcast last year before everything happened, I would have probably had him in the top 8, top 7 maybe.
Ooh, golly.
In the AFC. In the AFC.
Well, you didn't have Wilson there yet.
There's a lot of movement in there. That's fair. Like Sean Watson's a factor, for example.
Russell Wilson not being there. Right? Yeah, right. So,
Maybe.
He was kind of trending up a little bit a year and a half ago. Now, we'll see. So 10 for me is Ryan Tannehill. Michael, go ahead. Number 10.
Matt Ryan.
Okay.
New team, still can chuck the pill around every once in a while. Got a really good young running back that he can hand the ball off to, dump it off to. Gonna have to learn the offense. This division's wide open. So I think he has a shot of coming in right away and making a direct impact in what happens in the AFC South.
All right. Zachary, number 10.
I'm with you, Tannehill. I'd have had him a little higher if not for AJ Brown.
Right. That's a good point. 10 for you, Kyle.
Mac Jones.
Okay. So again, we're getting to this bundle situation where all these quarterbacks we are like within a ranking of two. All right. Number 9 for me is what Mike just said. Number 10 was Matt Ryan. And to me, this is maybe a 2-year window to do something. I see 2 more years of Matt Ryan than the cliff. He's still pretty good. I mean, middle of the road, I guess, at this point. But 2-year window, that's it. So Matt Ryan, number 9 for me. I actually love the acquisition here for the Colts in the short term. So, all right, Michael, number 9 you got.
I got Jackson Heights' own Mr. Deshaun Watson.
Wow, that feels a little dirty. Is that okay, real quick? Is that because of the legal shit, or you really he's not the quarterback?
That's because he's taking a year off from football, and most of those guys that take years off without picking up a football, there's always that, hey, I got the rust that I got to get
That's
off.
a fair point.
So I'm more worried about the football aspect of. I hope there has not been a severe drop off.
Shaking off the
there
rust.
has not been any film of him throwing the ball to anybody in a Cleveland Browns uniform.
This is a good point.
I'm
Yes.
more suspect kind of the Mitchell Trubisky route. How's it going to shake out?
No, I respect that. I respect that. We'll see. Okay. Zachary, number 9.
I got Matt Ryan. Look,
Nice.
he's an average quarterback. He's an average quarterback with one average wide receiver. That's it. So what's he gonna do? He's not gonna impress anybody. He's not gonna be special.
But it could be good enough to win the division, though. Could be, because I mean, Titans could be on the way out as well
Look,
too.
he wins the division if Derrick Henry pulls a hamstring. Okay, that's it.
Fair point. Fair point.
Hey,
So
now,
if it's been the last 3 years,
Very much follow.
Listen, Derrick Henry's had a major injury last year, and when guys like that start to get hurt, it tends to repeat. Baking that in isn't a bad idea, right, Zach? I mean, is that crazy?
No, not at all. I'm not
Okay.
saying he's not good enough to take the Colts to the division win and the worst division in football, but you know,
Well, I mean, okay. I just want to
I think if Derrick Henry's healthy for the whole season, I take Derrick Henry over everybody in that division.
Well, yeah, and the other thing too we haven't mentioned though, in Matt Ryan's defense, he does have Jonathan Taylor, but I'm with you. Derrick Henry is the key piece to that division. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. We're down on the top 8 now. To me, this 8 and above to me are either elite or borderline elite quarterbacks in the league.
That's
Number
a
8
lot of elitism, and
Yes.
I don't think
the AFC is stacked. The
Much
AFC is
elitism.
stacked. AFC is stacked. Number
the
8
elite
for me.
is, I don't know.
Number 8 for me is my value MVP pick. Value MVP pick. Derek Carr.
Well, value is what the award stands for. Is MVP is valuable. That's what NBA
what I'm
people
saying is
seem
that
to forget.
He wouldn't be a favorite, but if the team overachieves, he'll probably be a MVP candidate. Most likely could win it. So for the money alone. So I got Derek Carr number 8, and you add, of course, what the receiver from Green Bay on top of that, everything else. Waller, he's stacked with receivers now. The time is now.
And has run support.
Yeah, that's right. Devontae Adams, dude, shit. It's gonna be a big year for the Raiders. We'll see. That division's stacked, of course. Michael, number 8.
Mac who? Mac Jones.
Okay.
That feels kind of high. Why? Defend it.
Why? I love his first half of the season. He's now played against the tougher teams. He's gone into Buffalo and had to play them. It's just going to get better for him. It's not going to get worse. His throwing motion is perfectly fine. He has the fucking greatest coach in NFL history fucking leading him into battle. And they're just building an army of fucking people around him. At the end of the day, it's not like we're sitting here going, wow, I'm really worried about Tua, or I'm really worried about somebody going in and playing in Buffalo in December. I'm not worried about Mac Jones going into Buffalo and playing in December, because the guy will come up with a game plan that will work. Yes, the game he played, he threw the ball 3 times. The wind was blowing 75 million miles an hour, and there may have been snowmen playing safety that nobody saw. I love Mac Jones. I think that he is a guy who has the absolute ceiling here, and I don't know that I'm as panicked as other people are, because at the end of the day, the NFL season was 18 games. He played 11 at most in college when you include the bowl game. We're adding extra weeks of getting teed off on in practice and in games. I think the rookie body has to develop the extra weeks that you're not getting hit whenever you're in bowl preparation.
Yeah.
So I think Mac Jones is in a spot here where this is a year where Mac can take off.
This is true.
I like where they have him. I like what they have building around him. So I'm good with Mac in the top 8 right now.
Sports. Zachary.
Well, I'll help Mike on one little fact. He played more games in his one season at Alabama than most of the quarterbacks did last year in the regular season of the NFL. The man played 15 games for Alabama last year. First off, all right. You have a 12-game regular season.
You mean year before? Year before, you mean Zach, right? Zach, you mean year before?
He played 15 games his last year at Alabama.
Okay, there we go.
Less than half of the quarterbacks last year in the league played 15 games.
True.
All right. I'm not Mac Jones at all.
But when you have an entire fucking Brinks truck playing offensive line for you at Alabama, you're not really running for your fucking life. You're playing a top 10 defense in Buffalo.
My point, Mike, was that college kids are playing more games today than they were 20 years ago. It's no longer 11. It's 14 with that.
But again, there's a difference between having a Brinks truck as your offensive line and having guys who get hurt more frequently and having to play top 10 defenses pretty much every week. Playing Sister Mary Catholic blind
Dakota.
It's not as impressive. You know, Tennessee and Vanderbilt.
I agree, but they are playing a few more games. Let's not discredit the extra games they're playing. They're getting paid to play those games now.
But if you think,
they're making sure that paycheck says it.
The SEC has been the best football money could buy for some time.
Look,
correct.
Mac Jones was definitely the best number. I'm not arguing Mac Jones. I was just
all I'm saying is Jones got hit as much during practice at Alabama, where Nick Saban probably had those guys so far the fuck away from him that it didn't. If you sneezed on him, you're running. I think the reality of the situation is his body took a lot more contact last season.
Well, do me a favor and just repeat what you said for Deshaun Watson again, because that's who I got here at my pick. And it's not just taking a year off. He's also going to miss, 6 to 8 games this season for punishment.
Most likely, yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a huge time off. So I put he moves in on my list there.
Yeah, I struggle with that one too. I almost put Deshaun behind Derek Carr for that reason, but because we don't know what's happening yet, there's nothing official yet. That's why I left it as is. Kyle, go ahead. Number 8
for my money, I can't quite put Derek Carr ahead of Deshaun Watson. Listen, if Michael Vick could spend 2 years in Leavenworth and then come back doing what he did, winning, I think it was 11 straight with Philadelphia, I think Deshaun Watson's poised to do that himself. I tend to lean a little bit more positive, whereas Derek Carr, congratulations, sir. You've been one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks in the league for some time. It was Matt Stafford at one point, but now people have seemed to catch up with Ernest and I, realizing that he's
kind of funny. You and I, Kyle, been on this wing for 6 years now. Talking about Derek Carr. 6 years. Interesting.
Well, yeah, and you're referring to the year where he would have won the MVP if he didn't get hurt and leave Connor Cook out of Michigan State at quarterback for a playoff game where, the Texans and by extension Brady had an easier path through the playoffs because of that. However, I am not that brave yet to put him ahead of Deshaun Watson. I have Derek Carr here mostly on the strength of that difficult division he's now in, which is now the strongest in the NFL.
Yeah. Number 7, I just mentioned Deshaun Watson for the same reason that said, you can probably if I had known that we don't know yet what's going on with him for the season, he'd be number 8 if we had known the suspension's in play. So, but number 7 is Deshaun Watson for me for the same reason you guys have him 8. Michael.
I have the second best running back in the National Football League here. Give me Lamar Jackson.
Wow.
That's a little low for the second best running back in the league, buddy.
Controversy.
I don't know many running backs can throw 400-yard games, but go ahead.
I also don't know any running backs that just lost their number 1 receiver, which was pretty god-awful as it was for basically a 6-pack of Coors Light. And they did nothing.
That's a better argument.
And they did nothing to improve the wide receiver position.
This is true.
So I'm more worried about the fact that he was already finding a way to not connect with Hollywood Brown. Bateman is okay, not great. I have to play this team twice a year. If there's anyone who gets to see Lamar Jackson do Lamar Jackson things, it's yours truly. So at the end of the day, I'm more worried.
Wait, you're a Steelers fan?
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, shut up, Cowboys fan. That's not funny.
Hey, fuck off. I'm a Chiefs fan. No. Patriots fan. No. Packers, baby.
1A, 1B, buddy. 1A, 1B. All right.
Go ahead.
I love Mark Andrews. I think he's going to rely on him probably way too much this year because I don't see there being a move that they can go make that's going to change their wide receiver room at a drop of a hat. I know people were talking about going and getting Julio. I'm sorry. I don't want another aging wide receiver that he's going to find a way to not gel with. I would rather bring in guys that you can get a rapport with and stay with for a couple years to build up a wide receiving group, because at the end of the day, if you're going to give Lamar the extension, which did they do that already?
No.
Who's that?
Dude, he's going to go into free agency.
No.
He's playing the Kirk Cousins round.
No chance. The only way he goes into free agency is if he knows he's going to an NFC team where he can get away from this fucking quarterback purgatory that he's in right now.
He knows Jerry Jones will pay him $75 million a year.
Puts you in the top 7. So, I my bigger concern isn't Lamar. My bigger concern is what's around him. And I think that's something, again, this list isn't put him on a team with the same receivers. Where do you rank them? It's I rank the entire the team, because he does have to still throw to those guys.
Wow. Interesting assessment. I kind of agree. Not that low, but your Fenceman was really good. Zachary, number 7.
I'm taking Derek Carr. And all honesty, I think this is as high as he could ever go. Until one of these other quarterbacks gets traded out or leaves because of free agency. This is the mountain he's gonna reach. That's it.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you on that one, 100%. Kyle, 7.
Incredibly strong assessment there, Zach. I got Derek Carr here. It's hard for me.
I've had 2 guys in front of me praise him already. Do we need a 3rd round of praise for the guy?
Yeah, no, I mean,
and I have him at the highest point. So
because he gets forgotten though a lot of times.
No, you don't.
This way. The only reason I have him ahead of Deshaun Watson is because of what's surrounding him.
Correct.
And I'll leave it at that.
I like his weapons more than what Deshaun Watson has. I get it. Deshaun Watson's a dual threat, but he's had one great year where he led his team to the playoffs.
Honestly, I'm gonna switch mine. I might put Carr at 7 and Watson at 8. Honestly.
Well, that's a you problem. I still have Deshaun here at this spot, but that's simply on the strength of mobility. You know, in this NFL, mobile quarterbacks do matter.
By the way, I made a last minute adjustment just based on Mike's fucking breakdown. So just saying.
I mean, you're a basketball guy. Why would you be expected to do your own football breakdown?
Yeah. Shut up. I'm nervous with tonight's game away. So anyway, number 6. For me, I have Justin Herbert. That might feel low. Does it feel low? It feels
low.
Not necessarily. It's cynical. It's not low.
Not if you're grading him on what he's done. Is where he is.
I mean, he's played well.
Yeah.
He's played excellent. He's not the problem.
I don't know. He tends to disappear in games where they should blow out weak opponents.
Well,
I mean, there were literally games he had last year where you go, what the hell? Did the Chargers sleep through this?
Part of the defense like shit though too though.
I'm gonna remember.
You're the quarterback. You're the guy
another quarterback who did that very same thing, but's going to be ranked much higher than this. Continue.
All right, I got 6 is Herbert. I will say I did struggle with that, to be honest, because of how good he is, and by the way, as bad as they were last year, well, not bad, but as much as they underwhelmed last year, he is a quarterback still ascending. He's still on the up and up.
Correct.
So, I don't forget that. 6 for you, Michael.
I guess I'm gonna be that guy. Give me Russell Wilson.
I'm done. Bye-bye.
Peace, bitches.
Bye, Ernest. Thanks for coming.
So, why do you hate Russell Carrington Wilson, and how do you expect us to keep serious?
I do not hate Russell Carrington Wilson. I do not. I am not. I like Russell Wilson. Again, I've done my rankings based off of the pieces that he has around him.
That is blasphemous. Sorry,
this isn't the wrestling pod.
No, this is Stephen A. Smith.
Trust Jerry Jeudy to stay healthy. Cortland Sutton is good, not great. There is going to be a drop off from his production with DK Metcalf. and Tyler Lockett. So I think there's going to be a step back at least year one. At least year one until he gets familiarity.
Can we fight again? You two fight again about this court?
No, the Cortland Sutton is good, not great. And Jerry Jeudy, I have more questions on if he can stay healthy. Because after the two of them, it's question marks at the wide receiver position for me. They traded Noah Fant in that trade. I think Noah Fant would have been perfect in an offense with Russell Wilson at quarterback. I don't like the 17 different running backs. I would like for them to have a distinguished running back and then a guy he can throw to. So it's one of those things. It's not a slight on Russell. I think Russell's great. I think Russell's going to excel in Denver. The pieces are where he takes the ding for me. It's nothing against Russell the player. It's the pieces in the garage with him.
So all theatrics and drama aside, about throw my headphones on the desk and leave the room for a couple seconds. Mike's not wrong here. Mike has a good point. I just want to be dramatic because it's because.
Oh no, I made it dramatic when you walked away asking him why he hated Rusty, knowing for a fact that he doesn't hate Rusty.
I know. So we're number 6, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Zach, number 6 for you.
I got Herbert. It's the same thing. He's been great, but he's put up great stats. But again, I will fall back. You can go through his schedule, and there were games he literally just disappears against weaker opponents. So would I want to build a team around him? Fuck yes, I would. I would trade everything in the world that the Commanders have to bring him to the Redskins for the next.
Oh, the Red Tails, right? I love that team.
But
the Commodores,
whatever.
Oh, Commandos. What was it? No, Commandos?
I'm working on
Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah,
I'm
shit.
The Red Tails, yes.
I like Red Tails.
But with the guys who are in front of him, you're 6. Now you win something, you do something special, and yeah, maybe you'll go ahead of him. But right now,
if he even made the playoffs last year, not win a game, just make the playoffs, he's cracking top 5.
No, he's not.
You don't think so?
Not on my list.
Okay.
Not on my list.
Okay, never mind.
He's right. That's a little bold. I'm gonna have to go with him on that.
He would have had to go to an AFC championship to make top 5.
It's all game. It's all game. Maybe top 3. Shit. Because then at that point, the narratives start being created now.
At any rate, boy.
Kyle Sace.
This is where I would drop one Lamar Demetrius Jackson at this point. Mike's made the argument very swimmingly that the problem is not he, but he who is around him. Make jokes all you want about being the running back. The dude can throw down multiple bills as a passer as well. And let's call it what it is. Whether they mean to or not, they have yoked the offense to Lamar Demetrius Jackson. If they make him a free agent, that would probably be the worst move in Aussie Newsom's tenure. And may the force be with them.
Okay. And that's my number 5 now, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Number 5 for me is Russell Wilson. So I can't complain. He's not only one spot higher than Mike had him, so no big deal. And the point he made was actually very salient. Like the pieces are going to come together and all that. But I think he'll figure it out. I think as he always does. So, and you saw the value last year of him. He goes away, they fall apart. He comes back. They sort of made a little bit of a roll late before, So, but Russell and Fly, he needed to change the scenery, and I think he'll do well in Denver.
Well, no,
Michael
Carroll needed a change in series.
Yeah, and unfortunately his ass still there. So good luck with 3-14 next year, Seattle. Number 5, Mike.
I'll take the.
What the fuck is drama?
I'm gonna rank him the second best quarterback in the AFC, or the third best quarterback in the AFC West. Give me Derek Carr.
Wow.
I love the love.
I love me some Derek Carr, and I love it even more with Devontae Adams.
Oh, yeah.
College teammates, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller. They got a fucking run game. Yeah. Let's have shootouts where they just turn the scoreboard off when the AFC West play. First one to 100, go.
Don't you remember when Rich Gannon used to be a quarterback?
Bring back Tim Brown.
It's about to be Rich the Cannon Gannonville all over again.
Bring back Tim Brown too. All over
the place. Yeah. Again, where people got clipped for the pieces around him, Derek Carr goes up on my list for the pieces around him. He probably has arguably the number one wide receiver in football, a top 3 tight end, and one of the best slot guys that I've seen since Wes Welker in Hunter Renfrow. Deshaun Watson's favorite piece of receiving option whenever he was at Clemson. I love what Vegas is doing. That division is going to be uber competitive. It's going to be the toughest division in football for the next 5+ years. Derek Carr, vastly underrated. I'm excited to see what he's going to do with great pieces because he's been good to great with good pieces. Now I want to see him with great pieces, how well he'll do.
All right, Zach, number 5.
I'm taking Old Man River with you. Russell Wilson, man.
All right.
He's literally in my head, he's the oldest man in the AFC.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's not bad either.
Because he feels so young.
Is he older than Matt Ryan?
As a player.
No, Matt Ryan's older. He's number 2. You got it.
Sorry,
Who even thinks of Matt Ryan anymore?
Falcons fans?
Falcons with Danny Thompson does. Yeah.
But,
Colts fans are actually thrilled because it's not Carson Wentz.
So
Right.
So is Irsay.
As much as you and Mike are worried about his weapons, and I get that, I feel like Russell's good enough to make anybody a good weapon. What I really worry about with Russell is it's a new head coach. He
can make his weapons great if they stay on the field.
So while there used to be that misnomer about, Seattle's defense, so he got to hide behind that mystique of their defense dying for a while. And then everyone came after Pete Carroll's head. So he's always gotten to slide. And now he is the guy. Every eye in the football world will be on how he performs. And I wonder how he will perform with that. It's a little different. The only time he's ever experienced something like that is during the Super Bowl.
A lot of people went after Rusty when he took the money. This concept of him getting the slide is just not true. He's had plenty of detractors, even within his own locker room, about how the defense is falling apart because of him. He's worn that onus. So to say that he's been free of criticism is a little strong, partner.
To me, I think it got whitewashed. I think more of it was the defense just faded than he could have been a reason for it.
I will say there's a lot of Seattle Seahawks fans that will throw a lot of the blame on the guy that was slinging the rock, not the defense.
But what quarterback doesn't take the money?
No, I'm just saying I've seen the Seahawk chats because of our good friend Craig, big Seahawk fan.
Yeah.
And trust me, I've seen those where it's like, wow, fucking just instead of taking a pay cut to get an offensive lineman, just take more money.
The defense was giving up 35 points, but the Hall of Famers still on the field before they were getting cut.
Well, I mean, I think there's also doesn't help that fucking they lose their best secondary piece in Cam Chancellor to a career-ending injury halfway through. So I think that definitely put them behind the 8 ball on the defensive aspect. But we'll talk about that when we talk about the NFC. Let's stay on.
I just think he hasn't experienced the pressure where no one can come in front of him all season long.
I think he experienced a ton of pressure, especially after winning the Super Bowl and then the pick in the red zone.
Yeah, and did people crush him for the pick, or did they crush Bevel for the play call?
A little of both, but mostly Bevel. He's right there.
After the play call for all of that.
Sure, but if Marshawn gets stopped, he's going to throw it on the next play anyways.
So it's had to be the play call.
Or you use your collegiate routes and you run the option and you fucking let him keep it and then you fucking pitch it.
So again, the play call took the front.
The option. Bring the option back. Go.
I knew somebody was going to do it. Oh, God.
All right, Kyle, number 5.
All
right, Kyle, number 5.
I sure hope for your sake they never run the option with Burrow, because that would be a tragedy if he got hurt running that bit.
I'm aware.
Anyways, no, so for my money, here is where I have Justin Herbert at number 5.
Okay.
To some extent, this is where I will buy in this is to the extent they'll buy in on some of Zach's criticism is what has he done? He's disappeared at times and all sorts of things. But there's a quarterback that's further up this list that can be made guilty of the same. He just has a little bit more of a bargaining chip than Justin Herbert does. But that all being said, I have him at 5, and I will be very happy to see a day where he actually has a bit improved protection. By the way, Mountain talking about Russell Carrington Wilson and pressure. I know one place he'll get less pressure is in that Denver backfield, but that's a whole other conversation.
All right. Number 4, I modified this last minute. We'll go Lamar Demetrius Jackson, like we said. I had him a 3 initially.
Wow.
But the concerns of the environment around him, I will say the reason why he's still pretty high for me is that he's proven how valuable he is. We forget last year, with all the injuries coming into the season and then experiencing throughout the year, okay, they were 8-3 and leading the AFC as the number 1 seed before he got hurt. Okay, with all the injuries they already were experiencing before he got hurt, and then caught the part.
And then he came back, and they found a way to still lose the division to the Cincinnati Bengals.
No, he didn't come back. He was done for the year. He done. No, he never came back.
I'm sorry.
No, he never came
even
back.
Still, they also lost how many games by fewer than 3 points?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. So they were 8-3, and then they were 8-9 when he got hurt.
Oh, that's right. I put him on my IR spot and let Joe Burrow lead me to a fantasy football championship last season.
That's right.
That's right. Sorry, forgot. My bad.
Do the Simpsons theme. We have our Homer. Moving on.
So I am concerned about.
I actually didn't draft Burrow. My teammate did. I wasn't at the draft.
Right. I am actually concerned about Lamar's the environment around him and the pieces they put. Obviously Holly Brown being gone. Now, granted, Holly Brown wasn't all that great. He was one of the worst. Like he dropped balls every 2
He was
games.
He was number 1 in the league.
And drops,
number
right?
1.
There you go. So you made a point there. So, but what I do know with Lamar, 4 or 5 years in the league now, is that no matter what happens, he always finds a way to win. Now, we can question about winning the big one. Yeah, he's not there yet. But in terms
you can't win the big one without pieces, though, man.
Thank you. But you need to get there at least. And
even Jordan needed pieces.
Right. He at least gets you into the process of getting the big one. And then obviously, so Lamar is still to me one of the best 7 quarterbacks in the league altogether. So Lamar number 4, right? 4? Yeah, 4. Michael, go ahead.
Go Chargers, go. Give me Herbert.
Herbert.
Who does it too? But damn,
I love him. I think he's got the ceiling of a glass house, and I think he's going to shatter through it this year. They've just gotten better defensively, so now he does not have to put up 7,000 points a game to stay competitive. So now that he can be a little bit more time management, I think will help. Not having to rush to score with time expiring as much as he had to in the past. Yes, there are reasons to be concerned because, yes, there have been games where it looked like he's taking games off. And I think for him to take that step to be in the top tier of the AFC, he has to have that killer instinct. And I think that this is the year where you're either going to determine if he has that killer instinct or if he's always going to be a guy who he's there in a game against Denver or Las Vegas, and he's going to take the game off against Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I mean, we're going to find out where he stands this year, and I think that this is a year. If he puts up the numbers similar to last year, he stays in this area. If he goes and finds a way to fall off the face of the earth and not win the games that he needs to win, yeah, he's going to plummet down this list very rapidly.
Well, let me say real quick. My concern is not him. My concern is that fucking coach Brandon Staley. That's my concern.
Brandon Staley probably doesn't help the situation.
Oh, he hurts it.
I think they would have made the playoffs last year had it not
hurt the situation. But Justin Herbert also, you can see where he'll get up for the big game, and then there will be games that he'll literally just be like, "We're playing fucking Pittsburgh. We're playing Cleveland." Bill, who gives a fuck? And it's like, those are the games that you lose 24-21 because it doesn't matter if Brandon Staley calls a perfect game. If you're out there half awake, you will do more damage than good.
All right. Zach, 4.
So the reason why all 4 of my guys are in the top 4 is they show up to every fucking game. They actually fucking care. And at number 4 is the guy who can carry any team, Lamar Jackson. He doesn't care if his number 1 receiver goes down, his number 2 receiver goes down, his number 1 tight end goes down. Take out all his running backs. He doesn't need a running back to even line up. He'll still get you a win. Just don't blow up his offensive line.
He'll also only play 13
He needs
games.
5 healthy men on a football field. And they're all offensive linemen weighing 300. That's all he needs.
Just imagine him with help. Imagine him with help. Even a little bit of help.
Imagine him when he's healthy.
Yeah. God.
We saw he was an MVP leading the league in touchdowns when he had wide receivers who didn't drop a football.
Yep.
Just give them guys who can catch. They don't have to be fast. They don't have to get open. Just be tall and catch the ball.
Totally agree with you. Kyle, 4.
You know, here's the guy who was the actual MVP in 2019 over Lamar Jackson, Russell Carrington Wilson. This is who I have at number 4 on the strength of simply he's the guy who's done it there and done it most and been there before. What has he had in Seattle really to work with? And by the way, I think Tyler Lockett's a midge overrated. DK Metcalf is an absolute physical freak. He's just not as disciplined as a true top receiver in the league. You'll never hear DK Metcalf number 1 overall over, let's say, a DeAndre Hopkins just because he's not as disciplined. Imagine if Rusty had that to work with. And maybe some sort of protection would be nice. He's going to get that in Denver. I'll put it this way. Of quarterbacks who needed an O-line desperately, he was one of the top 2. And with one, I think he could do a very amazing thing. The main thing against him, that damn division, though. Just saying.
Ernest. Yep.
I got one simple question.
Go ahead.
One question for you guys.
Uh-huh.
Russell excels at creating off the run.
Mm-hmm.
When he's scrambling, I'm going to start to say about that Denver offensive lineman, 15, 20 plays a game, he decides to scramble on his own to create stuff. Because that's what was getting him in trouble a lot, was his own scrambling.
Because he has to do it, though. He has to do it, Zach. I think it'll be more of a surprise when he does it in Denver. In Seattle, he was having to do it a lot more often, I think, is what you'll find. But it's a good question.
I just don't want to hear halfway during the season how all of a sudden the Denver offensive line is bad because he's getting sacked a ton because he's out there scrambling trying to create on his own.
Right. Okay.
But, I mean, let's give a little credit here to the NFC West being among one of the better defensive divisions, especially if you take Seattle
of course,
out.
absolutely.
Okay.
San Fran,
I agree.
Rams,
and that Seattle offensive
Cardinals
line was declining for a long time.
No, I
hear your question. Let's let some of it kind of pan out. And hey, I reserve the right to say you were absolutely correct in this observation. I think we need to see some things first, though, before we declare that. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
And that's why I worry with the coaching and everything. That's why I couldn't put him so high.
Fair.
All that matters.
Number 3, I have the man, Joe Burrow. I just said number 4 initially, but then I got convinced to move up, him and Lamar switch. He to me, it's not about the numbers. To me, it's about the presence. This is what I was saying throughout the playoffs last year. He wasn't playing spectacular football like in the playoffs, but he was cool. He didn't panic. And the game was Tennessee. He got sacked 9 times. Gets up, takes care of business, gets the team in field goal position to win the game. To me, those are the things that are why I always put Montana and Brady as a tier 1 quarterback of all time, because they have these similar attributes. It's not about the numbers to me always. It's about just the presence and just the moxie and just the, he doesn't panic, and that's Joe Burrow in a nutshell. So number 3, Joe Burrow, AFC champion. Michael Driver.
I'm gonna take Joe here. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a Homer excursion here, so mind me for a second, gentlemen. This team last season, even with the addition of Jamar Chase, was not supposed to win the AFC North. It was not supposed to be a playoff team, and it would not have been a playoff team if it had not been for Cool Joe.
Injuries in Baltimore.
Correct. I've said it from the very beginning. Baltimore got the worst hand dealt to them all of last
from training camp on, not just the season, from training camp on.
No, absolutely. That's why I said, when you look at this team, they weren't supposed to be the division winners. Hell, I don't even think we were supposed to be second. I believe that was supposed to be the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I picked him second, I think.
So I love what Joe is doing. I love the fact that they're building around him. I do believe that the loss of CJ Uzomah will hurt, but I love the fact that they've now built an offensive line around him to where he will not have to run for his life. I love T. Higgins. I love Jamar Chase. Tyler Boyd has fit into that number 3 role that I had questions about going into last season. But those are questions that you have as a fan that's watching your team make a decision to build around a young quarterback. I love what they've done with it. I'm excited for it. But now this is the bigger question for Joe in 2022. Can we keep the step going forward? He got to that ceiling really quickly. He got to an AFC title, which he was victorious in. He got to the Super Bowl, which he was, unfortunately for yours truly, the losing quarterback in, but not because of any reason except for the fact that they probably ran out of time.
The reason was Aaron Charles Donald.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. No fault of his own. The fact that he had to go up against the best defensive player with an offensive line that was average at best. So, again, I love what they're doing. This, though, to me, feels like this is I'm not going to say a make or break year for Joe, but I'm saying this is where he has the ability to put himself in the conversation with number 1 and number 2 of being a elite quarterback in a absolutely loaded AFC for the years to come. And if he takes a step back, he's still in year 3. It's not as bad as Ryan Tannehill taking a step back.
All right. I like the rant. That was good. I'm going to assume, Zach, you're there too, right?
No. And so I knew I was going to get killed with my number 3 pick.
Go ahead.
So here's my defense.
I know who it is. Go ahead and say it.
And I know you guys think my observations are simple, but sometimes it is very simple. And here it is. Cincinnati's offensive line. That is why I'm taking Allen at number 3. Cincinnati's offensive line is the reason why Josh Allen is number 3 in the AFC and not Burrow.
Interesting.
That is why.
Interesting. Kyle?
What Joe Burrow did with that offensive line, that's it.
The line was so bad, he's saying.
Here's what I find interesting is we have guys on this panel who talk about players that don't show up and play down to observation, and yet Patrick Mahomes II is allowed to skate. The hell's wrong with you people? Josh Allen at 3rd, Joe Burrow? No, it is Patrick Mahomes II. He's the one that's been playing horrible at times. You know you're in trouble when Keegan-Michael Key can make a joke about you forgetting to play football at the NFL honors, gentlemen.
So wait, so you got
that's a thing that happened.
Major shakeup
hold on.
here.
Did I smoke weed during this podcast?
Hold on. I'm actually closer to Kyle than anyone will think, because up until about yesterday, I actually had Mahomes at 3 and Burrow at 2. And I took a step back and I said, hold on, let me take the Homer shaded glasses off and think about what these guys have done over the course of
You wear glasses?
Yes, only on days that end in Y. So I actually had Mahomes at 3 up until about last night, and then I proceeded to flip him and Joe from the standpoint of trust me, I'll be the biggest homer in the world. I love Joe Burrow. But I just felt like I needed another year of that out of Joe before I put him ahead of Patrick.
Then you men are clearly insane
all right, so
Josh Allen.
Just so we're clear, I have Burrow at 3. So does Mike. Zach has Josh Allen at 3, and Kyle has Mahomes at 3.
That's correct.
Okay.
Mahomes, the guy who's been to 4 AFC championships in a row?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. You mean the one that's taking games off against lesser competition. The only reason why he was on anyone's top 10 is because Ernest is a Chiefs fan.
The
Okay?
guy
He got
who- wait, the
during
guy
the
who could've
season
been the
by the
three
Bengals
Super
at one
Bowls
point. And then
and
late in
not
the year,
for
he
an
decided to
offside.
play
Stop.
up.
You
No,
do
I
this
don't want to hear about things in the past. Zach, if you're evaluating based on the past, you're doing it wrong. This is based on potential. And here's what I know. Big Weapon lost. team identity changing. If you watch the Chiefs draft, they're trying to play a little bit more defense. I'm not here to tell you that Patrick Mahomes II got worse. I'm here to tell you there's going to be less opportunity for him to be productive with a new game plan. I'm not saying that he's going to suddenly not throw 4,000 yards. Basically, any of these quarterbacks, you could have put any of them at 1 and I'd be happy. But on this particular day, at this particular time, especially from people who are saying, well, he doesn't show up to this game. If you're going to tell me that Mahomes showed up to all of the games in the regular season, you have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that you didn't watch all the games, and you have exposed yourself like a Janet Jackson halftime show. End of story.
You know what? Let's get to the 2-1. Go ahead.
He did show up for something. His brother's fucking TikToks.
All right, let's go number 2 quick. Let's do 2-1 quick. Argue this. So, number 2 for me is Josh Allen. Okay, 2 for you, Mike. Who you got?
I told you I had him at 3 earlier in the week. I'm not putting him at number 1. It is Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, Zach, 2 for you.
I had Burrow too.
Okay, and
well,
then
Burrow, you're talking.
Also,
You want to? All right, let's see out into the future. A guy with a garbage offensive line gets to a Super Bowl. Guess what he can do when they actually draft an offensive line?
Well, I mean,
it's agency for details too, but
pretty god awful against Tampa. So, I mean,
hell, I know Josh Allen has a defensive coach who's really fucking good up there in Buffalo. All right,
okay.
Cincinnati doesn't have the greatest of defenses. Yes, they managed to do a couple little things here and there, but you don't consider them a defensive juggernaut. And Kansas City, you know, the 4-time AFC quarterback,
live in the past, home slice,
still doesn't have a defense, and he manages to get there.
All right, Kyle, number 2 for you.
Wow, man who lives in the past. Number 2 is Burrow. And Zach was making a great argument for Cincy. His one for the AFC West, about ready to check Patrick Mahomes II potentially, is the one he's not accounting for. It'll be very interesting to see when he has to do it week in and week out, because he didn't earlier to start the season.
Okay, so number 1 for me, I have Mahomes. Obviously, here's why I have Mahomes 1 still, because I actually see
because you're a Chiefs fan.
That's number 1. Shut the fuck up. But seriously. No. Here's why. This is why I'll agree with Mike and with Kyle here to some degree. It was Mahomes with a bullet prior to the AFC title game. Now he's number 1, but that gap is a lot closer now than people give credit for. It's not no longer Mahomes with a bullet. Mahomes has been the best quarterback in the league with a bullet for the last 4 years. Not so much anymore. So he's number 1, but it's much closer.
I wouldn't have said he was the best quarterback in the league for the last 4 years, probably, because there's some guy who's won the MVP a couple of times in that debate. But I digress there.
Aaron.
We're
talking
about the AFC, so I'd like to keep the conversation on the AFC. We'll talk about Ron Rodgers later.
Well, next episode of Football's Awesome.
I have Josh Allen at number 1.
Okay.
And it's because of the fact that his arm strength is absolutely fucking retarded. They're really good. Here's the thing. He doesn't take games off, and he doesn't get hurt. He runs the ball at an alarming clip for a quarterback. He lowers his shoulder, and guess what he does? He pops up, he hands the ball to the ref, and goes, that's another fucking first down. I mean, that's what he does. I mean, he throws the ball fucking all over the fucking place. At the end of the day, we're talking about quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes, great. He's been to 4 AFC title games. He got his dick kicked in the Super Bowl by a good defense in fucking Tampa Bay. He stole a Super Bowl, and he got beat by Cincinnati, and that's what it is. I don't think that I'm all that great on Mahomes being a AFC championship expert. I need more Super Bowl titles to go based off of what he's done.
Let me say this, though.
He could have been to 3 straight Super Bowls had his defense showed up against Cincinnati in the second half.
I don't know what any of this has to do with the coming season, but
what did Cincinnati do? Score 21 or 24 points in the second half alone against Kansas City's defense?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Mahomes isn't a freaking cornerback. Also,
the offense get the ball, but did the offense get the ball in the second?
You put up that many points, you should be able to win. Your defense should be able to shut a team
interception.
down.
No, he threw a really shitty interception.
No, I got to pin that game on Mahomes. That was Mahomes' loss right there. This is the first time I think I actually had to blame Mahomes for a loss in a big spot.
Hold on. Do you blame Atlanta's defense for blowing it in the Super Bowl?
Yes.
So
Partially.
I
I blame Ben.
But you can't blame Kansas City's defense for blowing that lead in the AFC Championship game.
It wasn't a huge. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a huge lead either.
The offense for stop trying to score. They stopped trying to score.
Oh no. No, I put in that game Mahomes to this day. That's a Mahomes loss. Mahomes played like absolute Mahomes
Again,
literally short.
Key
He literally
make fun
short.
of how bad you were in that game.
Literally,
at the NFL honor.
Right. He literally short circuited in that fourth quarter.
To quote Keegan-Michael Key, forgot how to play football.
Hey, did Josh Allen play in that AFC Championship game?
No.
Did he play in the Super Bowl where he short circuit? No.
Look at this. We're doing an individual based on team accomplishment. You have again proven, Zach, that your data sucks. Moving on.
Hold on. Did Josh Allen lose his best wide receiver? And it's been replaced by Marquez Valdez-Scantling? I don't think he still has Stephon Diggs.
Let me say this. Right. Let me say this though. This could be the year where at least in my case anyway, that I can see a swap happening. Like
if Patrick Mahomes does not win the AFC West this season, he probably will not be in my top 4 next year.
I can't go that far.
Oof.
If Herbert or Carr wins that division and wins the MVP, they're ahead of him.
Okay, so number 1 for me is Mahomes. Mike, you have Josh Allen, right?
Yes, Wyoming. Let's go, Cowboys.
Okay, Zach, you have Mahomes as well too, right?
Yep.
And then Kyle, you got Josh Allen as well?
I have Josh Allen, yes. Unlike you, Homer.
We're split, man. Zach and I, and Mike and Kyle.
Because like myself, Kyle actually pays the fuck attention. You guys are fucking living in the past.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Both of you.
You know
fuck off.
You ding the
Eli
best
Manning's a great quarterback. He won the Super Bowl.
On the final play of the game for Kansas City, but you give Josh Allen the pass. You know,
Well, Josh Allen did his job in that game. I will say that though.
He did do his job in the game.
1 and 2 is a lot closer to get. I think, guys, at least for me anyway, is a lot closer. You guys getting credit for.
Yeah, and then you know who did his job? Pat Mahomes getting him in the field goal range.
Exactly.
With 15 seconds to go.
And that is no.
Oh, but you want to talk about
that's
defense
what the
and
number
stuff.
1
And by the way, you still haven't answered him not showing up for the first half of the season. Your consistency's still missing.
But Zach right there is why Mahomes number 1 for me over Josh Allen by a smidge. Is that what you said there? And
is by something Josh Allen couldn't control. That makes sense.
If the Mahomes,
you're into field goals winning games, you Brady apologist.
Wait, you just
kiss the rings, goddammit.
This guy, team accomplishment for individual achievements.
You can't ding Josh Allen for what he can't control on defense, but you can ding Mahomes for what Kansas City can do on defense.
I don't think it's a ding.
I think Mahomes for throwing a really shitty interception that led to another fucking Bengal touchdown. If he holds onto the football and throws it into the ground rather than trying to make something happen that was not there, they win that game. He goes to the fucking Super Bowl. He handed the Bengals an extra 7 fucking points by short-circuiting and throwing a knuckleball to a tight end that wasn't fucking ready.
Even Keegan-Michael Key told you.
And that's why it went from Mahomes with a bullet to Mahomes barely. That's why.
Mahomes still.
You guys went the whole thing, went the whole route, but whatever, it's okay. I'm right. It's better. So
yeah, and then you don't
whatever
even
you say, Homer.
Then you don't even reward Burrow for that meltdown. You give a quarterback who wasn't even in that game.
I'm actually, you know what's funny? I'm actually looking through the NFC quarterbacks now, and I think this is going to be even more interesting than the AFC because there's so much.
Daniel Jones.
There's so many bad quarterbacks that we're all shit on each other's list.
Yeah, that's what I'm going through the list. I'm like,
number 16, Kirk Cousins.
No.
Yes.
Stop, Kyle. Stop.
Somebody will have Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
in
Zach.
The bottom 3.
Yeah, former Redskin here. Zach.
I just gave you number 16, Daniel Jones. It's a little tease, but
you're sure he's starting?
Number 16. Number 16, right? Marcus Mariota.
Correct.
No, Marcus Mariota.
Marcus Oh no is more like it.
Is he starting too? Who knows? Shit. Anyway,
this
is a great podcast. Of course, you can find Mike. Well, Kyle, plug away first because you have the laundry list of things to plug.
Of course, I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same. the SOTG. Find me on Facebook as a student of the game. Check out my work with the Black and Gold Banneret, where I cover UCF football and basketball. Also, my work with the 3-Point Conversion, where I cover things Jaguars and college football in general. And then also check out my work with Hilarity by Default, checking out movies and all that stuff that you should be required viewing on the Hilarity by Default YouTube channel. But until next time, gentlemen.
Who's your host? You say?
Oh, you mean Demosthenes Euclid?
There we go. Things been a little wild, buddy. What the fuck?
Of course, yeah. But until next time, everyone, class dismissed.
Mike, plug.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at They Call Me Burn, BERN, last 4 letters. You can follow me on Instagram, Fat Kid Certified SE. You can follow our sports show or our wrestling show, Wrestling Take the Number 3 Wrestling on Twitter. I also have a small podcast about the local league down here in South Florida. Sunny Days and Double Plays. You can find that anywhere you can find your major podcast stuff. Appreciate coming on. Love talking rankings. Can't wait for the NFC quarterbacks so we can talk about the greatness that is Marcus Mariota and Carson Wentz's rubber arm.
Zack, plug.
You can follow me line at any local dispensary, or if you are in line at a local liquor store, please, by all means, feel free to buy me a drink.
Hey, that's a problem.
I still owe you dinner. I owe you dinner.
By the way, you owe me like 8 freaking years of dinners. You never pay up.
Oh, controversy.
Yeah. Of course. Football's awesome. We'll probably do we'll do the NFC side of this probably either next week or week after that. So look out for that. Earnestly podcasts, of course, all podcast captures and all the shows on there. Fellas, thank you so much for doing this. It was awesome. We'll do it again soon.
Until next time.
All right, guys. I'll see y'all later.